process is pretty simple. Before you come in for your appointment, at least 24 hours before minimum, you must fill out the waivers that we pre-send to you. These waivers let us know if you have any certain medical conditions where you can't have the service done. It lets us know if you're on any sort of medications where it can pose a contraindication to this service. It also lets you know what to expect, because this is a two-step process. This is not a one and done, and this is also a cosmetic service, which means there are never any guarantees in any cosmetic service because of the fact that we are working with skin, and skin is unpredictable. Also, what the client does after they leave our salon is also unpredictable, so we cannot ever guarantee our work. So if someone ever tells you they guarantee their work, chances are they're lying to you. So that is the first thing you have to complete. Number one is fill out your forms. Number two is you come in, you wait in your car, and you let us know that you have arrived so that we can let you know that we are ready for you, as we have to sanitize and get the area ready before you come in so that we're ready to go and you're not waiting around or anything like that. We schedule everything perfectly so that no one is ever left waiting ever or even too long. Okay, so as soon as you come in, we take your temperature, we have you wash your hands, you need to use the restroom if you can do so, and then we'll see you on our station. So when you're at our station, you will be introduced to your artist, and you will have like a little mini consultation. You will express your concerns with your brows, what you expect, what you would like to have done, what your idea is of a perfect eyebrow, and what you don't want, because we also want to know that. We don't just want to know the pros and the positives and what you do want, we also want to know what you don't want so that we never go venture out that way. Okay, so then after that, the artist will lay you down, they will start taking pictures. They will also let you know whether or not your expectations are realistic for you, because we never want to lie to anyone and say like, oh yeah, your expectations are totally real, and then not give you what you expected, and then you turn around and be like, what the heck is this? So we always want to set the expectations from the start so that you don't have any misconceptions or any miscommunication. So we lay you down, we take pictures. We must take pictures. Even if you don't want us to post it, we have to take pictures because it's for our records. So ladies, come in with makeup if you like to come in with makeup. Sometimes we post, sometimes we don't post. It depends on whether the client would like us to post it or not, but we have to take pictures for our records always. So then after we take our pictures, we start measuring. We measure based upon your facial features. The reason why we measure based upon your facial features is because why? Your brows are going on your face. They're not going on someone else's face. So yes, you may love, let's say, Kim Kardashian's brows, but if you don't have Kim Kardashian's facial structure, there's no way that we can honestly give you Kim Kardashian's brows. It's just not realistic. So we're gonna give you brows that fit your face, not anybody else's. So it's custom made to you. And the features that we look at are your nose, your eyes, sometimes your lips, sometimes your jaw, your forehead, definitely. Things like that we need to take into consideration. Also, the amount of hair you have. If you want a really thick eyebrow, but you have a very thin line of hair, we cannot do that because of the fact that we don't have what I call the real estate to put that big house there when you have a little structure. So just know that we have to work with what you're giving us, not with what you think you want or what you've seen on someone else. Another thing is that we will not make shapes based upon a picture that you brought us of someone else, because of the fact that we've had this happen in the past where clients wanted, there's this new trend called the foxy eye, where it's like lifted like this, where it's like the ponytail lift. And thanks to Bella Hadid, everyone wants that look. Now, if your brows are growing down, we can't achieve that because we'd have to shave off half your eyebrow. So it's realistic to understand that if you wanted that look, you can get it, just not with us. How you can get it is you can go and get PDO threads, you can get Botox, you can get fillers, you can get a little mini facelift, whatever you want to do, but we cannot do that because we were working with what you have. So after we are done designing, we'll sit the client up and we will now check for symmetry. Now, one thing you must also understand is that brows are sisters, not twins. Now, they are sisters from the same mother and father. They're not step siblings, they're sisters, but they are not always identical. Why? Because if you notice in this video, I lift this eyebrow a lot. I'm always very expression. I'm always talking with this eyebrow and it moves. It's never symmetrical. It's actually a little bit longer than this one because of the fact that I'm always raising it, so they had to lengthen the tail because it appeared that my tail was so much shorter when I would lift it all the time. So understand that your brows are never going to be carbon copies of each other. Also, our eyes don't match one another. Our hairline doesn't match. Our nose is usually not 100% like even. So little things like that play a factor into the symmetry of everything else. So there's no way that we can make both eyebrows look exactly the same if the rest of your face doesn't. So understand that the artist is doing the best that they can do to get you as much symmetry as possible within reason, because you do have your own facial expressions that you can control with Botox, PDO threads, facelifts, things like that, but we cannot do it because we're working with what you are giving us. So we check for symmetry, or as much as possible, and then once we have achieved the most symmetrical brows that we can get for you, we will then show you. Once we show you, we give you as much time as you need because we want you to 100% love this shape in order for us to proceed. So what the things that we tell you then are, it's not going to be this thick because we're going inside of these lines, and I'm going to put up a picture right here, an example of a design. It's not going to be this thick, it's not going to be this color, and it's not going to be this squared. I personally, and I train my girls also not to do this, is to create really squared brows. Really squared brows to me just look a little too harsh for some clients and just looks a little too hard, and it hardens their expression too, which I prefer softer expressions. So that is just how we work, and we do develop our own styles as we go, but that is how we all like to work here at the Brow Effect. Then after you have approved your shape, we lay you back down and then we start. Whether you are getting an outline or whether you're not getting an outline, we set up our station, we pick a color. We do not let you pick the color. Why? Because if we show you pigments, you'll be like, okay, I don't know what this is. Oh my God, that looks green, that looks red. You don't understand color. So, and this is going inside the skin, and it never looks green and never looks red so long as the artist is doing what they're supposed to be doing. So we pick the color, we set up the station, we set up our needles, you relax. If you need to go to the restroom, you can go to the restroom, and then we proceed. We start either doing an outline or doing the shading, and then after that first pass, we will add numbing. And some of us like to put saran wrap on the brow that we just finished, and then we go back and forth between eyebrows, and then in about an hour, hour and a half, we would be done. Once we think we are completely done, we sit you back up. We check one more time with the Phi app and to check for the symmetry and make sure that the brows are as close to each other as possible. And then once we think that it is 100% perfect, we will show you. And then you get to take, once again, your time as much as you need to make sure that they are 100% perfect to your eyes. Now, us women, we are guilty of overanalyzing everything. So we tend to look at a magnifying glass, but no one's ever going to look at you like that. So if something is off by like a millimeter, it's okay because of the fact that you may be swollen in one eyebrow more than the other because we finished one before than the other. So obviously we can't do both eyebrows at once. So you will maybe notice like slight difference like that, but that will all change when you go through the healing. So just relax. We want you to look at the overall. If you feel like one is slightly off here in the front, if one is higher than the other, if you feel like it is, if one is longer than the other, things like that is what we want you to look at. And once you have approved 100%, we go over aftercare, and then you are sent on your way, and hopefully you will have scheduled your 5 to 10 week touch-up appointment to correct anything that does not stay, because during the healing there is some fading that occurs, and that is why we call this a two-step process and not a one and done. So touch-ups. Touch-ups are very easily done. You come in, we sit you down, we ask you how was the healing, what are your concerns, what would you like to tweak, would you like to make them darker, what do you want to change now? And the touch-up takes about an hour and a half, sometimes even less. I've done touch-ups in 30 minutes because the person healed so good. So it really depends on how well the person took care of the brows and how well their skin healed. So it also depends on the skin and the person's what they did during their healing process. So after you've done that, we determine what color to do, and then we proceed. And then once we're done with that, we give you once again aftercare, and then you're done, and we won't see you for a year and a half to 2, 3 years. Depends on how well you take care of that during the next few years.